Hello YouTube, I hope that all of you are doing very well today. I am doing outstandingly well. Today is a good day. I am trying to find my way around Texas and thought that I would add to my challenge by making a video. It appears I am a sucker for punishment. Let's include this in my Get Real series. Here, I will not censor myself. You are empowered to leave if the heat in the kitchen is too hot for you. You are also encouraged to respectfully present your dissenting views. This edition will not be scripted. Do comment as you see fit. Okay, I'm going to start my music and we'll get going here. It shouldn't be too difficult. I have at least 50 miles that I can travel where I do not have to turn. So, let's get started. When bad things happen, it is not uncommon that we humans look for someone to blame. Rarely do we ask if we had contributed anything to the situation. Often we evade clear-cut facts when brought to our attention. This is followed by us refusing to accept or to admit any responsibility. Could this partly explain why there is so much unchallenged corruption in America, the general state of apathy, and our disconnect from reality? Being complex creators as we are, we can rightfully blame one, but not in proper proportions. When we see the increase of violence within America, many shrug, state the obvious, and move forward. It is true that we are not responsible for another person's actions. This does not remove our responsibility to tackle destructive behavior, no matter if it is within us or outside of us. It is popular to see violence as strictly the problem of those who are less cultured, uneducated, and not members of America. You see, the word American is code for white person. It is the default setting. It is easily forgotten this is a nation of immigrants, descendants of slaves, and descendants of indigenous people. This said, everybody else is placed within this box of hyphenated creature. Well, I have been assigned the label black. Though I claim it, it was still assigned to me. I am indeed an American. Don't call me African American. My ancestry is from the motherland. I am not. I bring this up because it is yet another way we can honor the vision and use it to deflect responsibility for inappropriate behavior and choices. Also, these days people love to make violence about race and class, but primarily race. Always easier to put as much distance as we can between ourselves and the others. This allows self-defeating behavior patterns to flourish as we lube up, bend over, and prepare for a daddy long stroke to put us into la-la land. Corrupt federal, state, and local politicians in league with corporate predators plan their moves every day. The Jewish mafia is alive and well in Chicago. You do not have to be from there to know this. Yes, focus is given to the Italians, but the Jewish mafia trumps them. They, like governing bodies, have their dirty little fingers in the pie. They want to carve up all that is ripe for the taking and devour the profit. Now, I do not live in Chicago. I can only say so much about it. Therefore, I will not try to offend those that live there and stay in my lane. I do want to make one point. I am very exhausted from the regurgitation of invalid talking points as it relates to violence within America. The focus on Chicago is a way to bring shame on the president. However, the president does a great job of doing this to himself. The FBI's semi-annual report covers January to June of 2013. After reading it, you may wonder why the media places focus on Chicago, but forsakes the available comprehensive crime statistics regarding the worst cities. Law Streets, which you can find on the web, has a listing that tells us what the worst crime areas, worst crime cities are within America. However, you may be interested in knowing that Chicago is not in the top 10. I'm going to share with you several of the cities that are on their list. At number 10, we have Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Skipping to number 3, we have St. Louis, Missouri. Number 2, Oakland, California. Number 1 is Detroit, Michigan. So as you can see, the proof is in the pudding. Now, I do not see anyone making reference to the database, the powerhouse of a database they have within Chicago Police Force. They have one which is called CLEAR. CLEAR stands for Citizen Law Enforcement Analysis and Reporting. This allows officers to tab through every scar, every mugshot, every alias. Do you get how significant that is? It is my understanding this technology arrived back in 2005. If you gave it a nickname or a description of a tattoo, let's say, on the supposed perp's left arm, it would track him down. It would also present his or her picture for proof. This is nothing like the old databases, people. I was aware of this technology back in 2005. Just imagine what they can do now. Of course, this technology back then had access to online rap sheets. However, it can track hundreds of thousands of pieces of evidence within the Chicago Police Department. The crime fighters will not remind the public that it has this technology, which is fairly old now, and that this old technology could predict, yes, predict patterns in the timing and geography of criminal behavior. Why is this important? Well, it allows the cops to know where to hang their cameras and where to send troops. So think on that. Think on that. According to the reports made by the Huffington Post, more than 40 people were shot over Easter weekend. If this was a mass shooting, our media would be feverishly running with this information. I'm willing to bet ya that it would be even more jazzed if the majority harmed were high-ranking in the racial order. This happened in a place that has the toughest gun laws in the country. Toughest. However, rules of conduct does not make one concerned for the principles of right and wrong, or make one want to conform to standards of behavior. We decide to construct a code and to live by it. It is our responsibility. Now, we do not know if these were solely gang-related shootings or an assortment of crimes. You know, like an assortment box of chocolates. We just don't know. What we do know is that there was an announcement regarding a prosecutorial unit newly formed called the Violent Crimes Section, and that they are to be on the case. It would be interesting what they bring to the party. We know that the presidents of the past had a very demanding schedule and are very busy. They cannot react to every tragedy. However, being that Obama has an intimate connection with Chicago, I would expect more from him. It is possible he has orders to stay quiet, to stand down. Maybe. No matter what, surely he could have taken time from the royal Easter egg hunt to speak on this. No, I am sure that he will carry the baton from the efforts of former presidents and inch the American public closer and closer to a point where the people will not be able to defend themselves. I do not care that Chicago has concealed carry. In my opinion, they need constitutional carry. In my opinion, if the NRA was worth a damn, they would give the mothers, the single mothers in the crime-ridden areas of Chicago, they would either give them a .38 special or a pump-action shotgun so that they would be able to defend themselves. But anyway, this is not about the NRA. So I do think that Chicago needs constitutional carry. I also think that one of the ways in which they could curb the violence is to produce a list of every gang member and present that list and confirm that list and then list them as domestic terrorists. Give them their due process and impose mandatory jail sentences with no possibility of probation or parole. Not just the Black and Latino gangs, all gang members. Of course, this should be done to the mafia as well, but I am willing to settle for street gangs for now. Now, if we find violent career criminals in possession of a gun, then we should give them a life sentence with no possibility of parole. Now, I do think that those who have committed non-violent felonies that have proven themselves to have changed their lives, to have become model citizens, that they should have the right, within their home at least, to protect themselves and to own a weapon. I understand that this is not a popular sentiment, but when have I ever cared to be popular? Anyway, I also reason that Chicago would be better off if they would deport immediately all non-citizen criminals. Do not feed them. Do not clothe them or provide medical treatment. Just deport them. Ship their asses right on out of Chicago if they're criminals. They do not belong in America, no matter where they come from, okay? No matter where their point of origin was. I do not care. Send them home if they are criminal. And since I am in Texas, and this is definitely a thought on my mind, while we are doing that, Chicago should invest in Texas in the hopes that they would beef up Border Patrol. Now, these are some of my thoughts that I believe, if implemented, would improve the general welfare of those who reside in Chicago. Now, some of you will claim I am being too harsh. Nope, I don't think so. Chicago, like my hometown, has a long history of gang activity. I have no empathy for wannabe gangstas. I consider them to be the scum of the earth if I did not support due process, and if I was not opposed to the death penalty. I would say round them all up, every known gang member that has done dirt, round them up. I'm not speaking about the ones that have been forced into the gang, that have done nothing as of yet, but the ones that have been within the gang and have been employing their criminal ways. They have done their share of dirt. I say round them all up. If I didn't believe as I do, I would say round them up and exterminate every single last one of them. I do not allow insects to thrive in my home, nor should people like this thrive within America. No matter if we are addressing them or anyone else that will resort to violent crime. One thing is for certain, we need to be more aggressive. We cannot always control the currents of our lives and their surrounding circumstances. We can steer our life course in specific, positive directions. However, if you think you can clean this mess up without the American people getting involved, being educated about what we can and cannot do, being committed to making the hard choices, and have a willingness to get your hands dirty, then we deserve everything we get. We have to set the standards for appropriate choices and behaviors, not the criminals. Thank you for listening.